Hi, today I'm going to be introducing you to Dr. Kuncheria P. Issac. He is the first Director General of Zion, a leading management and entrepreneurship institution in the country. He used to be the Vice Chancellor of Kerala Technologies University and a board member of several national institutions like IIT, IIM, CBSE, etc. He found the process of manufacturing M-sand an alternative for river sand. We, the humanities batch, and Sir had a small chit-chat on the topic, education in post-COVID era. We were able to gain a lot of information, and I hope you do too. Enjoy.
What is the scope of humanities, especially in the post-COVID era? That's my first question.
Okay, good question. But my answer is again different. What is humanities? Again, the question comes in there. It's today it's all called as liberal arts. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
Which will consist of humanities, arts, law. When you say humanities, it will have sociology, psychology, economics, mass communication, journalism, business, law, hotel management, tourism, fashion designing. All these are the courses which can be bracketed under humanities or liberal arts program. See, the difference here between professional course which will get you or fetch you an employment. Here also when I listed the courses, there are several courses which will directly are professional courses like mass communication, journalism, law, business, fashion design, hotel management. These are all courses which are specific to a profession and which has a job potential. But today, I mean, if you take the other way around, engineering, that also you get employed in a factory for production, for designing, you get employed. So similar way, everyone can find an employment. Today, it is not necessary that you cannot become, when you are now studying for humanities. That doesn't mean that you will end up in a particular job which is related to your course of study. This is the first thing which you have to understand. Probably you may land up in a different kind of a job. But how the education will equip you to get you transformed from where you are now to a status or stage where you can do several things. Now, you take your digital media, digital computer science. It's a field which everybody should know. You have, in the education, you get 2-3 things. One is the knowledge. The second is the skill. The third is the attitude. So, how we get these 3 components in your education so that you are equipped to learn anything during the course of your career after your education. See, now that you have learned, say for example, if you learn psychology, tomorrow you may become a psychologist after your higher studies in that particular area. But you can also become a journalist. You can also, if you go for a course on law, you can become a law graduate. You can also learn computer science. But during your K-12 education, you will have the foundation of mathematics, science, which is physical science, natural science, and the social science. All these basic things are required in your studies. So the scope is not limited to the study what you do, but how you and what you acquire in terms of knowledge and skills. If I just give you an example of how good are you in spreadsheet, that means the Excel package. Are you? Tell me. How many of you, raise your hands and tell me how many of you are equipped with a working knowledge of Excel software package? One. The remaining, you have not learned. See, this is something which is required for you to carry out any job. So it is not the sociology what you learn. You have to learn so many things, attendant things along with your studies, which makes you equipped to learn further. See, as a student, I have never learned computer programming till my undergraduate course. I have learned computers only after my graduation from BTech. I did my MTech course. I had one course on computer programming. But today, I can handle several things in computers. Wow! Because my studies have equipped me to learn anything. Because your technology is changing every day. Technology is changing. New things are being added into this. What I have learned, maybe the fundamentals remain, but so many things have been added into the world in several disciplines and areas. How do you learn that? Are you equipped, or your education has equipped you to learn things which are being introduced beyond your, during your career? If you are equipped to do that, you have become, your education has become successful. So this is something which you have to understand. So it is not important that whether you study humanities, whether you study engineering, whether you study law or business, it doesn't mean that you are going to stuck to that particular area. You are going to work in several other areas. Here there's a misconception that since you study sociology, you will become only a sociologist, or you study psychology, you become only a psychologist. That is not the case. The knowledge and the skills you acquire during your learning process in your universities and schools, colleges and all, will have to equip them to become a successful person, to have lifelong learning. If you can do that, you can select anything. See, today's world, you also have this major minor. You take major in mass communication and minor in computer science, or your major is computer science, your minor is this. But basically you should have been sound with your basic knowledge of mathematics, which is essential for anything and everything, even for your economics, even for your psychology, even for your sociology or philosophy. It is a must. The basic knowledge is must. That will give you the foundation to learn more things. So, I just gave you that. I don't know whether you have understood what I said. What I mean to say is that, tomorrow you want to become a startup guy. You can. You know about startup, right? Now, how can you become a startup? You can start a business. You're equipped for that. That doesn't mean that you have to be an engineer to do a startup. But you should have a creative thinking. The creative thinking can happen even when you study psychology here. Basically, you have to understand one thing. See, we are now in the digital era. Before the digital era, we had the industrial revolution. Before that, we were in the agriculture. We were agriculturists. And probably if you know that long back, the education, I mean, long back means during BC, 5,000 years back, if you take, people have been taught, or the children have been taught by their parents to do hunting only. See, the basic necessity during those periods were hunting. Get your food, or vegetarian means you do something, get it from the trees, like a person who lives in a forest or a jungle. So this kind of hunter-gatherers, or what you call them, that was a necessity. I mean, that was a kind of education which was happening during those periods. Then we moved to the agriculture era, where we started learning how to do the agriculture. So the children were taught how to do agriculture. What are the techniques available? Like that, when you have become the industrial revolution, you were taught how to work in the industry. Now you are in a digital era. So without a digital knowledge, your studies will not be complete. This you have to understand. So a basic knowledge is required today in digital. So for that, you should have a foundation. If that is there, the job which you are going to do is something different. You can become the CEO of Microsoft. You can become the CEO of Google. Because you study everything. I mean, what I said is that critical thinking, logical reasoning. These are things which you gain when you do an engineering program. But today you can get that in any other course. I mean, if you take a few universities like in India, we have the Ashoka University in Delhi, the Kriya in Andhra, new universities. There are some similar universities which are focusing on liberal education, liberal arts. See, they are focusing on the overall development of the student there. It's not pinned to your sociology and psychology alone. It is, the education is something which you have got to understand is that what is the necessity? What is the nature demands today? This is what Aristotle said. No, the man is a social animal by nature and by necessity. So you have to learn things. Then your career is very. Basic things are to be required. I do not know whether you are getting that opportunity to learn these things also, so that you are equipped to take up any job. Maybe you will not be able to do a design in engineering. But you can become a scientist.
So, what's the scope of present educational system for job opportunities in the post-code era?
See whether the kind of jobs may change during post-COVID. See, for example, I said hybrid form of education. So the hybrid form of education will be classroom environment plus technology. And the new education policy also enlists about, they are giving more emphasis on technology. So the technology is now available so that tomorrow you will have a feeling that, Ashia will have a feeling that Hepzibah is sitting by the side of you and you will be talking each other. So that kind of a feeling can be developed by virtual reality. And that is a technology which is coming.
So, children these days have a longer duration of screen time and physical inactivity. How can we keep these online classes effective while keeping its harmful effects low?
See, today there are institutions which gives you half an hour yoga exercise through online. So you're sitting at home. In between the class, we will have a 10 minutes yoga done. That will make you interesting the class. So 15 minutes you will have class, 5 minutes you will have a breakout, 10 minutes you have a breakout, wherein you will have a yoga exercise done, or you do a dance. If everybody does that, your class will become interesting. That is what you are missing in your online class. If you can have that kind of something built in, that's what I was trying to understand. What is that you are missing in your online program? Because you are missing a lot of enjoyment, which that is why you give 10 marks for your online, physical classroom. Maybe the same thing, I am of the opinion that you get the same thing when I teach, whether it's online or offline. But what you miss is something which is the group activity or the interaction among the peers in the classroom.
So, what is the message you want to convey to the teachers?
See, they would have transformed me to reach to this level of my career. See, traditionally, നമ്മൾ ഒരു ഗുരു ശിഷ്യ ബന്ധത്തിലാണ് നമ്മളുടെ പഴയകാല വിദ്യാഭ്യാസം നടന്നിരുന്നത്. But ഇനിയുള്ള future relationship between the guru and the shishya will not be the traditional guru-shishya relationship. In olden days, the disciple worshipped the ground on which the guru walked. Now, they have been respecting the teachers. Today, the teacher's role is getting changed as a mentor rather than a guru, because all information is available and anybody can access it. So today, the teachers are going to change as mentors. They are going to be a career advisor, a skills consultant, a role model, a psychological support, or all this rolled into one. He encourages the students to develop their skills to climb the ladders up. So the teachers will have to be inspirational. They have to talk about the challenges the children will have to take, the roadblocks the children will have to face, and how you overcome that. So the message to the teachers is that on the Teachers' Day is that you have to change from the olden days of a guru-shishya relationship to a mentor relationship where you are going to guide the student for the organic growth, the overall development of the student, for him to achieve everything.
And that brings us to our last question. What is your advice to all the students?
Today we are in a digital world. So when you are in a digital world, you have got to use the technology And that will be the most important thing, which will facilitate you to acquire the knowledge and use the knowledge and make it available to the others, so that everybody will get benefited by it. So the students will have to change from the traditional way of learning things from the teacher. He has to make available the information in the internet and wherever it is available. And this information, he has to use it himself by self-learning. And you will have to look to the teacher as a mentor, and he will guide you to transform you to reach greater heights in your life, to climb the steps of your ladder. So the years to come, you will be more dependent on the technology, and you will be using the teacher as a mentor rather than the traditional way of looking him as a guru. So that change will happen in your path of learning, which will help you. And this Teachers' Day is another day where you can find your mentor and get you connect with the teacher or the mentor, so that the mentor will transform you to guide you. He will guide you, he will emotionally guide you, emotionally support you, and psychologically support you. And in all your walks of life, he will be your companion, and he will be your guide rather than a coach or a teacher.